cause us to fall. And when you have a structured, game plan and you follow it, it allows you the opportunity to, finish goals. Absolutely. So for me, it's not just about, oh, you're eating right and exercising. It really is about a whole lifestyle of being organized and getting yourself together. And of course, the other part too is just feeling good. Absolutely. Like it feels good, Ezzie, to go to the gym now. And when I walk from the parking lot to the door, I can breathe. Amen. Because that is what is most important to me. It's not necessarily about the looks. For me, it is more just feeling good and loving the skin I'm in. And with that being said, I think the beauty comes out. You Absolutely. Know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'm excited about that. So listen, I had Carolyn on the line with us this evening. Carolyn, how are you tonight?
I'm doing just fine, Angela. How are you?
Absolutely wonderful, darling. I thank you so much for being on the show. I just wanted to ask you that quick question because I know that we talk about fitness and, getting in shape all the time. What is your reason, or why do you think it is so important to be fit?
I think that it's really important nowadays. Blood pressure, cholesterol is such a illness that is ignored in the Black community. I just think that it's very important. Me, I just turned 46, and I noticed that some of those issues that I thought would never happen to me happened because the scale, due to my proportions, right. I don't look my weight. So I think, oh, well, as long as I can wear it, I don't have to worry about my weight. And that's not necessarily the case because when I went to my last appointment, my blood pressure was elevated and cholesterol. So I chose a healthier lifestyle. I don't like to call it a diet because it just sounds so restricting. Since I've been eating right and exercising, I've noticed an increase. My skin looks better. I've noticed that I'm seeing my curves more. Awesome. I have more stamina. Going upstairs isn't so much of an issue. And I'll be honest, I know this is praise radio, but even I've noticed the change sexually.
That's right. Hey, you're married.
To stamina.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
I just think that the lifestyle change, and of course with your age, I just think that it's something that's very important and should definitely be something that is taken more seriously in the Black community.
You know what? I love that you hit on a couple of those points. The first thing I always want to say is do not be fooled by the praise stigma, because praise is just who we love. We're still human and we still have the same, issues that everybody else has. The only thing is I have redemption. Some people don't. But with that, and just want to tell anybody that's out there that is holding on to the line, please mute your line if you are not talking. But with that being said, Carolyn, when it comes to you being married and your sex drive increasing and it being more fulfilling, it is great. You know what I'm saying? And Ezzie, isn't it? I mean, to be honest, I think too, like your husband started looking like, dang, who was that?
And actually, that is true. I just noticed that he's seeing the changes, and I'll ask him, how do I look? He'll be like, yeah, you look okay. Don't answer it. But I mean, I know that he's watching and he's noticing, and he also has changed his lifestyle and eating habits to make me, to make it easier for me to stay consistent. And my daughter, she's also a plus size, and she's 15. And her seeing her mother being more focused and more concerned health-wise, she's also gotten into that regimen too. So it's an all-around family change. It's not just a me change.
That is so awesome. And Ezzie, what you want to piggyback on any of the things that she stated?
Yes, Ed, one of the biggest things is your daughter. She's watching you. That's one thing I really love about my job on a day-to-day basis. Also, what I really like to do is I like to interview moms. When we do fitness consultants, I really like to focus on the moms, because I can touch the whole household.
Amen.
You know, one of my goals is to make whatever community I'm in at that time one of the healthiest communities, because that's my gift. That's what I have to offer, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
the easiest way to impact the household is through the leader, which, you know, especially in the Black community, but just period, is through mom. You know, she controls what we eat, when we eat, and that lifestyle, you know, the stress and the pressure, everything that's on mom. Well, one of the easiest, most cost-effective ways to deal with stress is through exercise and just having balanced nutrition.
I'm telling
you know,
you. Yes.
Fitness is very important, especially to me, because here's what, we only live once, right?
Yes.
Sweet. We all want what? Quality of life, right?
Yes.
Well, you have to protect your body. We only get one vehicle to carry us through life, and that's our body.
Yes.
So we need to be conscious of what we put into our body, and we have to make time for those daily disciplines you were talking about.
Yes.
You know, it really doesn't take much. 30 minutes a day, 3-4 days a week. Get a little bit of resistance training and some cardio to get the metabolism going. Nice little sweat, release some endorphins, and boom, you out of the gym. You know, you don't necessarily have to be in the gym. Just 30 minutes, you could do some push-ups, some body weight things. Just make time for you, because this is our life and you only get one body.
Yes, and you know, I know that little 15-minute, 20-minute routine that you're talking about, because I will never forget the first time that, you know, I had to actually do it. I was panicking, like I did not want to. You was like, no, it's gonna be simple and we're gonna have a good time. And I'm looking at you like, dude, are you serious? Like, I cannot follow no routine. And you were like, we're just gonna do this and this and this. And I think I must have breathed harder during that time, but I was determined. You ain't about to embarrass me in front of this gym. And we got through it, and you kept saying, I am so proud. You're doing more than what I thought you would do. But just in that little bit of time, you're like, we're done.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, oh my God, I feel that over my whole body. And now it definitely has become second nature. And every time you turn around, there's another level that you allow me to get on to continue shocking, you know, the system, so to speak. So I'm telling you, but when you're done, two things happen. Number one, you just feel good.
Yes.
And then you feel like you've accomplished something.
Absolutely.
And you know what it tells me too, especially in the business of me trying to pursue a dream, this has been my Achilles heel my entire life. I feel like if that was something that I can actually conquer, then the sky's the limit for everything else, you know? Carolyn, thank you so much. That was awesome. We had another caller that called in as well from beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, my hometown. Tisha, are you out there this evening?
I am.
Wonderful. Welcome.
How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful, darling. How are you?
I am doing very well. So glad to be here tonight.
I am so glad to have you on the show. Listen, you've been hearing some of the correspondence as it relates to health and fitness. That is definitely something that I know personally you're passionate about. And so with that being said, you know, you can just give your own scenario, or why do you feel like fitness is so important?
Yeah, so y'all have stolen some of my thunder, so I was nodding my head as y'all was talking. You know, y'all really touched on a lot of the points that are very dear to me. But I just wanted to hone in on one particular part that just stuck out that I've been thinking about lately, which is the stress element of fitness, and how it truly does help you to alleviate that stress in your life. Stress is really real.
Amen. Yes.
And this last year and a half, I really had been dealing with some family circumstances and whatnot. And, you know, since I've gotten past that period, what I've realized is, let me go back a little bit. What I allowed to happen was I stopped working out, and, what I realized though now, as I'm going through the things that I'm going through, that what's missing is the fitness, because I feel a lot more stressed lately, and I was just kind of stepping back and looking. I was like, why am I feeling so stressed? And I'm like, you know what? I don't have that workout element there. And now I just realized, just in addition to all of the other things that were mentioned tonight, that that is so important for that element just on its own.
Yes.
But just to touch on what the previous caller also mentioned about family, and that was another thing that I kind of went back on, because prior to that time, I was a gym rat. As you mentioned, I'm very passionate about fitness and nutrition, and all those things. And the one thing that was missing was my children weren't a part of it. And so as I am trying to get back on the horse, and Angela had been mentioning her trainer, which I am looking forward to, getting to know and possibly work with in the future.
Yes.
I want to bring my family as a whole together to do this together. You're right, as a whole, as the head and the lead is ahead in doing those things and implementing those healthy routines and regimens in the daily lifestyle. The stronger it's going to be for those children and them to come in. So, everything happens for a reason. But yeah, those are just some of the things that initially popped out at me and then I thought of.
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, that's definitely something that, is extremely important, how we deal with stress.
Absolutely.
Because I will tell you, I have loved ones right now who I know in my heart of heart, because they are having all kind of these attacks on their body. And one of the biggest things is when we get to the hospital, or when, they've taken multiple tests, they can find nothing. Yeah. And that is scary, because there are parts during that time when they may be going through something that they really feel like they can't breathe, or, so I know how, stress is. And I'll say for Tisha, I feel the same way. Like if I wait a few weeks without doing anything now, my body craves that. Good. It's like, hold up, Angela, what are you doing sitting down if you don't get your behind up and get to that gym, or whatever it is. It is. Yeah. It is. And it's something definitely that I just don't see anybody living without that.
You can't live without fitness.
Yeah.
You really can't.
Because our bodies are what? Motion? We have to be in motion.
Your body was designed to move. You don't really even look at a toddler.
Okay.
They're never still. All they do is move around. They have excessive amount of energy. And like a lot of people want to attribute some of the excessive energy and things like that to me, because I'm a younger guy, I'm 32 years old because of my age. But the reality is, it's because fitness is important to me. It's non-negotiable. Like I tell people, it's like brushing your teeth, right? Whether you feel like it or not, you still brush your teeth.
That's right.
Right? So whether you feel like it or not, you still have to make time for you. Yes. You have to make time for fitness. You have to make time, to get your meals in order, to make sure you're not missing meals. Because here are two things that are not going to change. We all only get 24 hours in a day, and things happen, right? When you look at people who are fit or in shape, whatever way you want to evaluate it, it's not because they have more time in a day, and it's not because their life does not lack have problems. They've learned to be successful in spite of the amount of time that they have, or in spite of the problem.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. So they find creative ways to press on, to move forward. And when you do that, that's when the daily discipline kicks in, and that gives you the inspiration, the motivation, that build the self-confidence to help you get through another day. And you can just take it day by day.
See, and that is why, do you see why I love my personal trainer? He breaks it down. And honestly, even as you speak to us, you can tell the passion that you have. So listen, you guys, I thank you so much. Carolyn, Tisha, loved your correspondence. I so appreciate you guys for calling in tonight. Listen, if you want to hang on the line, finish listening to the show, we've got a jam-packed hour that I think is going to be amazing. I want you guys to get to know this amazing man that I have right next to me, Ezzie Raulls, and we are about to delve into his story, and for you guys to see why it is not just about fitness. He really is doing some life-changing things, and we are going to be discussing that when we return. You are listening to the Angela Foxworth Show right here on 108 Praise Radio, and we will be right back. And I always do this. I love doing it like Chuck Woolery. And 2 and 2. I'll see you in a few minutes.